Many times we have great memories of things that happened in the past, and we think, oh, if I could just do that again, I would have the same joy, I would have the same satisfaction in those things. But what we don't realize is we're not the same person we were. Hi everyone, I'm Jamie Perez with the Light Journal Podcast, and today I was given a really important lesson by Spirit. When I got up this morning, I realized that something that used to give me a lot of joy in the past was feeling a little flat. And I had stopped engaging in this particular activity for quite a while, and I thought that if I did it again, that it would bring me the same joy that it used to bring me, and it didn't. And I wasn't quite sure how to feel about that. And so I woke up, like I said, feeling a little flat, and I went downstairs and I was listening to Spirit and I was listening to my heart. And after taking care of my dog, which is always one of the first things I do in the morning, I felt the desire just to go outside and wander amongst my gardens, and so that's what I did. But I didn't get very far. I got as far as the trellis where I have a clematis that is crawling up it, and the clematis is, I think, maybe probably 8 years old, maybe even a little older, I'm not quite sure. And I was looking at it and I kept thinking, isn't it interesting how it's only clumped over the first 3 rings, and it has a lot taller that it could easily get, but instead it just bushed out at the first 3 rings. So I started looking at it, and as I looked at it, I recognized there were some vines that instead of going up, they just curled right back down again. And instead of going up the trellis, they were preferring to take the easier route, which was hanging around the bottom of it. So I started searching around and I found a few of the vines, and I started untangling them from the rest of the bush. And I stayed there. I think it maybe took me 10 minutes, maybe 15, and I just patiently untangled 3-4 vines, and I laced them up the trellis. And they were able to go up 2 more rungs on the trellis. And I was like, I know what you're telling me, Spirit. I know exactly what you're telling me. That you really don't want to go back to the old, because we've already done the old. The clump of flowers is there, but it's time to move forward. It's time to move up a little more. It's time to untangle yourself from the beliefs, the limitations, the constraints that kept you where you were. And it's time to move up. It's time to take more chances, to reach up instead of reaching down. And that was such a powerful message for me, and it was exactly what I needed to hear, because it helped me to understand a really important truth. Many times we have great memories of things that happened in the past, and we think, oh, if I could just do that again, I would have the same joy, I would have the same satisfaction in those things. But what we don't realize is we're not the same person we were. And we don't realize that that path that we once were on is now closed. That path went to the left, and we perhaps went to the right, or we went forward and that one went, I don't know, cockywalk somewhere else. But the point is, once we settled on our path, those other pathways are just cut off. Those aren't the paths for us anymore, because we had made a choice, and our choice took us away from those paths. So no matter how hard we try, we never can really get back on that exact same path. Oh, I imagine we could create new paths, but it's always from the place where we are now. There's never any going back to where we were. And so the joy, the satisfaction, all those memories that we attach to those behaviors, that's just what they are. They're memories. That isn't what we're going to experience now because we are not the same as we were then. Such an important point, and one I think that I know I really needed to hear. And I thought, if I really needed to hear this message, maybe somebody else did too. The clematis clumps and clumps and clumps and just becomes this big, huge clump on the first 3 rungs, when in fact it can climb to higher and higher heights if it just untangles itself from the old beliefs, from the old ways of doing things and seeing things. And so instead of trying to go back, I know this message is meant for somebody else out there, otherwise I wouldn't be posting it, but instead of trying to go back, look at where you are now. Disentangle yourself from the beliefs that are limiting you to who and what you are now. Disentangle yourself and see just how far you can move up in vibration, in frequency, in practice. I have a suspicion that this is a journey that many of us are currently experiencing. That moment of just looking back and thinking, oh, what if? The what ifs are gone. They no longer exist because we no longer exist as we were. That's one of the ideas in the eternal present moment, is we are where we are as we are right now. The body is constantly regenerating new cells. And so very literally, I don't have the percentage right. I'm just going to throw out a percentage, but very literally, I would say 90-95% of our body is regrown every so often. I don't know how often that would be. I know some cells die every single day and are replaced. Others every few weeks, others every few months. Some, I think, last for years, but those cells are constantly being replaced. So you literally are not the same person that you were. And when you try to go back to that person that you were, you'll discover that person literally does not exist anymore because you have changed. Your cells have regenerated so many different times that it's not the same you anymore. Experiences change you. Your cells change you. Your memories and life knowledge change you. Everything about you is constantly undergoing change. There is no staying still, and there is no going back. So instead of looking back and thinking, oh, I wish I had taken this path, or I wish I had taken that path, or I'll just pick this back up again because it used to give me so much joy. Instead, look into your heart and see what your heart is telling you. And your heart is going to lead you in the right direction because your heart, also brand new, is where you're going to find where spirit is the loudest and easiest to hear. So I hope this message reaches the people that it's meant to reach, and I want to thank you for spending this morning with me. Blessings on your journey, everyone.